The saga that is Candace Owens, and we are about to break open something I think most people either saw, refuse to see, or yet to see. We're going to show you some things about Candace Owens that we think everybody either has been missing or just not talking about. One, from her link to her husband and the former man who known as what is Big G, OG, Mr. Tate, to her liking of Mr. Weinstein and interviewing him in prison, her defense of the Catholic faith, the kind of vibe that Mr. Farmer gives off, kind of like a handler, might have been possibly had a role in the demise of Charlie Kirk. Her saying that she's going to violate the gag order that the judge put on, but because of the Charlie Kirk situation, how she's always saying that she's got stuff but never has it. And now we're going to dive into why all of that is now being exposed for what we thought was going to happen way back in 2022, when we told you all that she was eventually going to go de facto back to the place that she was always happy with, which was the left. In a recent video, she was caught saying, you know what, we need to unite. This call to unite, get purple, everybody get purple, red and blue, purple. That kind of gave us a little bit of a antenna-like situation. And we decided we're going to look. We decided we're going to just start digging around to find out if there's something we missed. Maybe there might be one linchpin that we looked over, saw, it didn't make sense at the time, and we found one, y'all. We found it. Now, again, this is not fact-based. This is what we call our opinion. We're not going to be like Miss Owens where we tell you everything we have it. We know, no. We are saying we believe, we think, and from what we can assess, this is what we believe is the truth. Believe is the truth about Candace Owens. We're going to first dive into her relationship with her husband, which seemed a little bit weird to us from the get-go because of how quickly they got together. Not even a full month. From meeting to marriage, I think it was somewhere in the region of 14 or 19 days. And people might say, well, I've been back in the day when everybody got married right off the top because you knew. Okay, cool. We're not arguing the merits of whether or not 14 days is enough time to fall in love with somebody. We're arguing the merits of somebody falling in love with Candace in 14 days. We're just saying some things because of the kind of person that Mr. Farmer is. Now, everybody wants everybody to look into Erica Kirk, right? Look into, what about her? Might have been her handler. What about Candace? How come nobody asking about Candace's handler? Now, we have more of an intention to look into this and show you that maybe she has more of a handler than Erica Kirk ever was over Charlie. There are some things that are being said by Candace and had been said months ago before the whole scandal popped off that I think it's worth bringing back up because it's not us saying it. It's Candace. And it's not just us and Candace saying it. It's us, Candace, and her husband, Mr. Farmer. Now, Mr. Farmer says he goes way, way back with Andrew Tate before he was the G. Long before Andrew Tate was Andrew Tate, they go back. Now, what was Andrew Tate famous for when he was younger? How did Andrew make his millions? Exploitation of women. And it just so happened that Mr. Farmer was really good buddy chums with him. Don't you find, in the words of Mr. Umar, don't you find that suspicious? Don't you find that suspicious? It's kind of odd. Like, how does Candace say it? That's kind of interesting. I just find that really, really interesting. Like, I do. I really find it interesting. So we went digging some more, and we came across a old interview, and you can call it old now because of how many videos she's put out. It is old in terms of 10 months old, and some of the things that were asked in this interview really made everything abundantly clear to us that we were probably on the right track weeks ago when we thought what we thought about Candace and her relationship, one, with Mr. Kirk, and two, what really took place when it comes to this marriage and how of a much of a role that Mr. Farmer actually plays in her movement up, as we should put it. So let's take a look first at this particular interview that she had 10 months ago. You can still go find it on her platform, not ours, hers. It is still up. Actually, I will tell you the exact episode, 119. You can feel free to go and peruse the whole thing. It's about an hour and a half. Okay, go look at it. So you're not thinking we lying on Candace by taking 15 different interviews and piecing it together, like we got that kind of time anyway. So we're going to listen to it. This is the first part of the interview near the beginning and the last part of the interview as the two parts that really jumped out the page at us. Now we're going to listen to it break it down, and then we'll continue in the vein that we were going to go at the onset into all of the linkage that has come from this particular point of view. Ready for it? Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Did you have any friend who, unbeknownst to me, was like, listen, mate, as they say in the UK, listen, mate, you are making a really bad decision, the worst decision possibly of your life?
No, not really. I mean...
Is it a credit to them or a discredit to them?
Yeah, probably... I think it's a credit to them, yeah. I mean, I think my best man, Nick, who you obviously know very well, his original reaction was, you're crazy, and this is never going to happen.
Now, mind you, these are friends. Friends are some of the best people you ever have. Sometimes, well, I can't say all friends. Some friends are just topical friends. Some friends are really good friends. But if it's a friend enough to make you the best man, I don't know. Maybe the person that you're bringing to your wedding as the first man should know you better than most. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to judge nobody. We're just asking the questions. Now, this is where it's going to get really fun, is when the tables get flipped onto her side. But I want to play the full thing so you can hear he answered too. I don't want y'all thinking we biased. We don't want to hear from Ken. We want to hear from both sides because we name both sides. So let's do it.
It was really when I first met you. Like on the first night that we first met, people were very... When I went back from that night, I was like, okay,
Whoa. People were very what? Now, what you're going to hear a lot throughout these interviews is a lot of disjointed, unfinished sentences. Almost like he's starting to say something, but then says, no, I'm going to say that one. Trust me, it's going to come in very, very critically later on.
There's this girl, very interesting, like, this could go somewhere, all that kind of stuff. And his initial reaction was, you're completely insane. But then by... come January, come February, come March of the next year, which was 2019 when we got married, it was like, yeah, this is happening and this is good. This is good. Everyone likes you.
I remember for me, I didn't have anybody in my personal life that was saying, don't do this, but I...
Remember, words matter to Candy. She said she had nobody in her personal life. Nobody in her personal life. This was last year. Please listen. Last year, nobody in her personal life. All right, cool.
Definitely had people in my professional life who were saying, I will never forget this. We have to call him out, right? We do. Charlie Kirk, Charles Kirk, if you are watching right now. But obviously he was very young. And
Now hear me out. Charlie Kirk was all about marriage, wasn't he? Charlie Kirk was all about making sure that you get the family dynamic moving. Kids, family, mom, dad, the whole... He was all about that. So why would Charlie tell you, don't do that? And why would you refer to Charlie as a professional relationship and not a friend? Weird. I thought you said that you were one of the bricklayers for TV USA. Mason, even. And you and Charlie, man, y'all are like peas in a pod. Now all of a sudden, you're referring to him as a business guy. That must have stung. When he told you that, why didn't you listen to this great, grandiose, wonderful sage of wisdom? Why didn't you listen? Must have been something else going on. We'll get into all that in a second.
And both of us were just so absorbed with politics, and we were traveling together everywhere. Charlie really was like a little brother to me.
Oh, like a little brother. 4 years, a little brother. Okay.
And I remember he's just like, you just cannot do this. You don't know this person. And then one of the donors to Turning Point USA was telling him it would be very bad for my brand. And that really stuck with me, that one of the donors said, it would be very bad for your brand.
Now, I know what you're going to say. See, even back then, the donors was trying to get the... Okay, cool. What is she talking about? Now, is a donor saying bad for her brand because of the message? Or is there saying that because of something else? Let's see. She'll tell you. Trust me. She'll tell you. And trust me, it has nothing to do with the Jews, which is weird, right? You'd think it'd have something to do with the Jews. It didn't. It was something way more minute, like this.
For you to like not marry a black guy from the projects or something like that.
That's right, yeah.
And I was sort of rebutted.
Do you think it's been bad for your brand?
Sort of
That's
rebutted.
the real question. I think it's like, is it bad for your brand now?
Huh. Is it bad for your brand now? Hey, look, listen, Linda, listen. I am not a body language expert, and y'all can say they're just joking together. It's just a funny line. He's just doing his eyebrow. Or maybe he's saying what we all know. Candace married into Moolah to get to that next step. And Mr. Farmer was more than happy to oblige, considering the kinds of friends he kept with one Mr. Tate. Now, we know about Mr. Tate, don't we? We know about how he controls people, doesn't we? We know it, right? Okay, cool. Could any of that have rubbed off? And could the dynamic between Farmer and Owens be of the kind where he is the, for lack of a better term, handler? We'll call him that. I'm just saying, based on what we've been hearing so far. All right. Now they're going to get into something even more juicy. Y'all ready for this one? Here we go.
Well, I do not typically consider who I'm going to marry as a brand decision, which is what I explained to them.
Maybe you should.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Maybe you should. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Many people think that the whole rift that came between Charlie and Candace was TPUSA and donors. And we came up with a different theory that maybe it was personal. Now, here's the other side to it. I think that we're going to eventually get into. Don't worry, we will get into the meats and potatoes and beans, greens, tomatoes, ham, all that. We're going to get into it. Could it be? I said could. I didn't say it is. Could it be that this whole thing kicked off because of that statement right there? The statement that Charlie did not want her to marry Mr. Farmer. Now, remember, she was saying that one, I think I remember this correctly, that it was through Charlie that she met Mr. Farmer and she owes him everything for that relationship. But if that's true, then why would Charlie tell her not to marry him? You can tell me, do those things match up? If she told you that, man, I was so happy to Charlie because it was through Charlie that I met this blah, George Farmer. And now you're saying almost as though that wasn't Charlie's intention. I'm not saying Charlie had ulterior motives. I'm just saying that wasn't what he told her to do. Oddly enough. Anyway, continue.
We got married and we proved the naysayers wrong. It's been a lot of learning experience. I think another question that a lot of people have is, what is the most difficult part about being married to Candace Owens?
This is my favorite part by far, next to the end of it. Which also kind of proves our point that Candy is not well. And y'all gonna say, y'all are taking this stretch. Well, stretch with us. Look, I'm not in the best of shape right now because everything hurts. And you know what I think my problem is? I don't stretch enough. So I'm going to start with me. Man in the mirror is about to stretch, y'all. Join me in some Pilates, yoga, whatever you want, calisthenics. I don't care what you call it. We going to stretch a little bit. But it's not the truth. We're not stretching the truth. We are only investigating theories, and they may lead to truth. Let's stretch a little bit. Let's see what the answer is, huh?
How long have we got? Well, I like to joke with you, and you know that I tell you this joke. So really, this is just for the audience. But I like to joke that there are many different women I'm married to.
Many different women he's married to. That would explain a lot. Look, again, if you go watch the whole interview, you'll find one thing, a common thread through the whole thing. And I do advise you go look at it. We're not discouraging you whatsoever from watching the entire interview because we believe in receipts. And this is one of ours. It just so happens to be Candace's words. So if you go back and watch, you will find one very weird thing, that they interact almost like they're not married. It's almost like they have this arrangement. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Arrangement. It's like it's just say, you do that, yeah, you do that, I do that, I do that. That's it. There you go. Marriage. Ba-dang. That explains a whole lot about why he's not saying much about what she's doing. Secondarily, if you're having the kind of backing that you think you got, well, we'll get into all that in a second.
Is I'm never quite sure who I'm going to get in one day.
He's never sure who he's going to get in one day. Now comes the pivotal question. You ready? Let's get into this. This will be really, really...
And the House of Lords is a second chamber, much like the Senate, but with much, much, much less power. Like, basically no power. I mean...
He's talking about his parents' roles, by the way. You'll get that in a second.
That's, some lord being like, I have power. But they don't really have very much power. And certainly my parents, to the best of my knowledge, I spoke to my parents today, but as far as I'm aware, they don't hate you.
Kind of an odd statement to make to your wife. Let me ask the married couples out there real quick. I know modern married couples. If you were to ask, or someone were to ask you what your parents think of your significant other, wife, spouse, husband, whatever, do you think that your answer would be, well, to the best of my knowledge, I've asked them and they don't hate you. They've never said that they don't hate you. Wouldn't most of us that have in-laws know one way or the other? Is that something that most people keep in limbo? I just want to know, is it that when you're married, as long as they've already passed, 5 years already, right? Is that something that you normally think of, that you say, I don't know if my parents, I mean, they haven't said that they hate you. I just go based on what they haven't said. Do you do that? Again, questions is all we're asking.
Never told me that they hate you.
Oh, they never
did. That's
They've
news
never
to
given me any
me.
indication. It's news to me. That's a recent favorite one. And then the newest one that has emerged is definitely my favorite. That Andrew Tate has blackmail on you.
Now make sure you keep an ear on this one, because this is where our whole thing hinges, okay? Please remember this, because this will explain just about everything we believe, explains everything about their dynamic, about why Candace is doing what she's doing, the people she chooses to defend and not defend, and the people that she uses to stand behind. This one line here coming up will tell you everything that you need to know, and then we'll flesh it out.
It's just like, where did the top G's blackmail on you? They're like, this is why. I'm like, what is anybody ever talking about? I can count, I literally think on 5 fingers how many times I've even met Andrew Tate. 2 of them were the times I was interviewing him.
Case in point, real quick, I just want to jump in. When people try to emphasize how many times they've met somebody to the point where they can really, really isolate stuff, you can probably bang that they've met the person way more than that. It almost seems that she's trying so hard to convince everybody. I've only met Andrew a handful of times. In fact, I can remember exactly the handfuls to interview, and then one try. You'll hear it, and you'll see how quickly she tries to dwindle it to less as opposed to more. Watch.
Once at the Trump Hotel, I think it's 4. I think the total number is 4. Yeah, it's crazy.
Whoa. Run that back. Run it back. What was that? What are you cutting? What are you cutting? Huh? What are you Georgie, what are you cutting? Hi, Georgie. What are you cutting? Let me ask you a question. If your wife is in the middle of talking about how many times she's met another guy, listen carefully, met another guy. The other guy just happens to be someone like Andrew Tate, who has a history of Andrew Tate and the kinds of relationships with women Andrew Tate has. And then you're talking about it, but do you see that? Would you think that they're trying to tell you don't say anymore? Smile and all. They see they left that in there for a reason. One of 2 reasons. It was forgotten, and once they put it up, they couldn't pull it back. Or he thought nobody would take it seriously. except us. We will take everything seriously, especially when it comes to these two. We're going to back that up so you can see exactly when it was said, when it was done. Here we go.
Andrew Tate. 2 of them were the times I was interviewing him.
Now watch his face. She's like, you better not talk too much about how many times you've met with Andrew Tate. The face alone is like, you're going too many times into the stop. Here she goes now.
Once at the Trump Hotel. I think it's 4. I think the total number is 4. Yeah, it's...
See? But we're stretching, right? We are yoga experts. We are the one that go to every kind of hot yoga class. Bikram yoga. I mean, we are doing it all. Right? That's us. Or, you know how we say they hide everything in jokes, right? People do it all the time. Okay.
Crazy. And so they think that they've developed this whole thing where, like, he's known you your whole life and he knows where all the bodies are buried. I'm like, people on the internet are mad, but I love a good...
People on the internet are mad, huh? So hold on. She thinks people are mad on the internet when they come up with theories about her and her husband. They're just mad to do that. You know what? I'll let her finish her diatribe and then we'll get into what she's saying.
The conspiracy theory, so I love to read them about myself, especially.
Like, he hasn't told me if he has.
If he does, Andrew Tate, also, if you are watching and you have a blackmail file on us, please let us know, okay? Don't let randos on the internet know about that.
Don't you find that suspicious? don't you find that what? Andrew, if you have something out there on us, let us know first. That's not how blackmail tapes work, Candace. Huh. Humor. Just saying. Okay, continue though.
But it is one of the things that I think has made our relationship so strong is our ability to laugh at it, because you could not survive this life if you did not have a sense of humor. People coming up every day with a new theory, constantly lying, but somehow if you put it on the internet, it must be true.
I didn't say nothing. Anybody got time for that? I didn't say nothing. She did. She just told you everything from him going. He was well spoken before all that. Before the Andrew Tate topic came up, that man was fluent. He was speaking like a noble. Yes, back in the day when Candace and I met at the stables, and we were riding, what was that? Mr. Trunchbull, yes, that wonderful horse. Amazing creature. He was speaking quite fondly of everything, and as soon as you start talking about Andrew, like he got a fly in his lapel. Now that is where our flags went up. And it made us think back to all the times that Candace herself defended certain types of people. Like vehemently defended kind of people, and participated in joining the one religion that seems to have it almost on the daily of defending a certain type of individual. We found it kind of odd, so we started to dig. So here's our correlations. From her friendships with Mr. Farmer and a subsequent marriage, his relationship with Mr. Tate, we saw some things started to come to the front. Candace being the mouthpiece of something that these particular people, you know how she likes to say there's a certain group of people, she's part of a certain group of people to get something pushed and to keep certain things sequestered, hidden away, and try to not act like it's something big. Okay. With the whole Tate thing, remember how he made his millions? He made his millions by the exploitation of women, including young girls, young girls, some just bordering on minors. Nothing was said about that when she interviewed him. Not a single pushback. Now, this is the same lady that y'all love to say will get to the bottom. She's like a dog with a bone when she's ready. She's the one that say, I'm never going to quit. I ain't going to shut up. You know, can't be rocked, can't be moved. That's her, right? But all of a sudden, when she runs into Mr. Tate, it's almost like it was a petting the hair kind of coddling session. I wonder if that was because of the relationship that she had with who? Her husband and Mr. Tate. Now, we're not inferring necessarily that there is something more there, but there might be more. in the shape of a triangle. We don't know. We're just saying it might be. You know how she like to say, I've heard from good sources. Somebody done told us. Nobody told us nothing. This is just in our head. Speculation. Then we jump guns and go over to another person that acts almost like and has the same sordid history, at least accusation wise, as Mr. Tate in Mr. Weinstein, to the point where she went out of her way to try and defend him by interviewing this man in prison. In prison. Now, mind you, she hates the Jewish nation, but she went to defend another Jew that was accused of something heinous. So let me ask you a question, the elephant in the room. If you hate the ideology about the Jewish nation because of what they do, but you don't hate this particular person who is of the same nation that does something absolutely disgusting, and you defend him, what should I think about you? I'm just, and again, just the questions. That's all we're doing is simply just throwing questions around. But right now we're 2 for 2. We're 2 for 2 in the defense of certain people that do the indefensible. Tate, Weinstein. Jump in number 3, the Catholic Church. Not a single word is being said about them from her. Now, she's the internet sleuth. She's the one that does all the informational looking intos, isn't she? Candace, right? That's her. CIA. Candace Intelligence Agency. But you can't go after the Catholic. You can't bring that to the group. No. In fact, you push it at every turn you get. They're the same ones that seem to defend a certain type of people when they do nefarious things to adults and kids. I see a theme developing here. What's the theme? The theme seems to be that whenever there are people that participate in certain actions, sexual, by the way, and act a certain way towards women, sexually, that is, you seem to come to the defense of these people. Kind of weird. We go back to 2022, Super Bowl, all the debauchery that was on stage, the demeaning of women. You are right there to jump right in. Just maybe when you finally linked up with Mr. Farmer, what you actually signed wasn't a marriage, but a arrangement to be handled. You try not to make a decision about marriage when it comes to your platform, but you kind of did because he said, doesn't it help you now? Don't you think it's helping you? How's it look now? And you might say, you're making it sinister. It wasn't sinister. Prove to me it wasn't sinister. I mean, outside of your anecdotal looking at it and saying, I believe. No. If you're going to say we're lying because we believe something, then you must have the counter argument to it, right? So tell me, how do you know he's not the handler? Based on what he has said, I can only go based on that. That's all I'm doing. I'm going by the language, going by how he said it, what he say, and to whom he said it to. That's all. Now, part 4, with him being the handler. If he was friends before Top G was Top G, and he was friends with Tate long before Tate was tating, then that blackmail tape might actually be legit. I'm not saying it is. I ain't saying it ain't. I can't say it is. I cannot say it's not. Why? Y'all, look, even Tate said it, right? If he wants to do something, he gonna do it. And he knows how to wipe his phone. Tate, not me. Tate said that. Tate knows how to get to things and to do things that people normally can't. He's considered a top G, for goodness sakes. The man can do all kinds of things. Now, if that relationship, from what they've been accused of, him and his brother, is linked to Mr. Farmer, who is now linked to Candy, and Candy don't want to cover those things, and Candy's trying to find a way to, make that look okay. Maybe that would be the reason why she has such a vested interest in the one person that said you shouldn't marry this person, but now she's benefiting from marrying this person. And now the only thing left she can do is to try and make sure that that person's legacy is absolute trash compared to our own. Which takes us to the fifth. The fifth is that just maybe, because of the statement of don't marry that guy, he was put on a list. Yeah, Charlie, I mean. Charlie was put on a list by a certain individual. Again, just theories. I don't have no receipts to bring to you. These are all just floating theories, ideas based on what we've seen so far. He's affiliated with people who can do that kind of stuff. Tate's bragged about that. Don't tell me that. That's what Tate said. What if that one statement of fact that Charlie, as a, the way she put it, business associate, not a friend or a brother, business associate, told her not to get married to that man. And that man found out that, hey, he didn't want me to get married? Huh. We might have to keep an eye on that one. Just keep an eye, make sure that nothing's happened. And then you guys really fall out. Now he has a reason. Again, just a theory. Now he has a reason to go after and to kind of look sideways at people like Charlie. Charlie didn't really want to talk about a whole lot when it came to Candace. He never brought her back and all this blah, 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 blah. And then Charlie's demise. Now, hear me out. The reason we're thinking that is what we're going to talk about very much next. Now, you might say, well, she couldn't have. There wouldn't be no reason because she loved Charlie, blah, blah, blah. I do believe she loved Charlie, 100%. Loved Charlie. Charlie telling her not to do something was a really big stab in the back to her. And I think she went out and did it anyway. That's what I think happened. Now, you might say, well, that puts to death your idea about him wanting to, or she wanting to marry him. No, I think she was trying to, probably kind of hoping that he would have said, don't marry him, marry me. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. Or is it just don't marry him? That's probably why she considered it business and not friendship. Because if it was someone of a friend, why would you marry him when you have somebody like me in your life? Would have been something closer to akin to the friend thing in her mind. But that's not what he said. At least that's not what she said. He just said, don't do it. Hence, business. You want a proof that she doesn't really care about the legacy and that really wounded her? You know, there's been recently a gag order placed on the whole case when it comes to Charlie Kirk. And she seems to be included in on the idea of the gag order, which she has then said, I'm not shutting up. I will violate this gag order. Now, tell me, what exactly would violating that gag order do to the case? It could put it in jeopardy, right? Not just her. I mean, she thinks she has money and she doesn't have $5 million for the case, but I think that was a hope that she would get more people to fund her so she wouldn't have to use hubby's money because he might not like that. But in this case, it's a little bit different for two reasons. You're defending something, the husband that is, that you put her up to. You already put her up to the idea of defaming Charlie Kirk. This is your getting back doubly for what he said. He should have never said, don't marry me. Not only will I put an end to things, I will make sure his entire legacy is tarnished, and you're going to do it. You're going to be the one that's going to be out in front doing it. You don't have a choice in the matter. You're going to do it happily. It explains why Candace looks a certain way when she's doing a certain thing. I think half-heartedly she does believe some of the stuff. But the mere fact that things keep changing over and over, and like to her own statement, people just come up with random conspiracy theories just to piss people off. She's doing the same thing. Now, again, I will have to keep reiterating, these are just our thoughts on it. We don't say we have receipts. We don't say we have proof. Diddly squat. It's just what we think. Kind of like how Candace does it. Except she says she has proof, never shows the proof, and people still believe her. At least what we're not doing is lying and saying we have something we don't have. It also explains with that gag order violation why she keeps moving away from fact-finding informational pieces. She'll come and tell you that she heard from a source, but won't give you the source. She won't give you the full fleshed out thing at all. Oh, he's leaving things out by omission. The letter comes out, she leaves that alone, runs off to another thing. Oh, here comes the text messages. The text messages come out. They talk about what was actually based on the text messages before and after. All of a sudden, she leaves that alone. You see the MO here? Okay, so they took the camera down. Where did the camera go? We gave it to the FBI. She can't disprove that. She leaves that alone. But she keeps telling you that she has all the proof. So what has this shown so far? That she has a propensity to lie. She has people in her circle that could have easily lent their hand to the demise of Charlie Kirk. She would have had a reason to do it because she was slighted by him. And he also told her not to get married to the one person that could boost her career outside of the other entities like Turning Point USA, like the Daily Wire, and like PragerU, who she eventually fell out of favor with anyway. but not a business decision at all. Because really what it is that she owes him her fame. You see, in all the struggles that she had before trying to really make money, now she did make a name. Don't get it twisted. Candace was known. Candace was known as the absolute hammer on the black community. Queen Coon was her name. She was the top of the top. Anytime people talked about people on the right that were black and conservative, Candace's name was on the very top until 2022. When we started, well, technically it was about 2021 when we started to notice some weird movements that Candace was starting to do. She started talking more about the things that she originally thought were bad. She stopped harping on the fatherlessness and the rates of that. She's left that alone. And then come 2022, the Super Bowl and the debaucherous acts, and she calling that excellent, and then doubled down on it. And since then, it's been a rapid run from conservatism to some amalgamation, the purple thing, of a little bit of blue and a little bit of red, kind of like, Mambo number 5, a little bit of Monica and a little bit of this. She just keep mixing everything. And now she's wanting everybody to unify over what? The Charlie Kirk situation. But why would the left unify over the Charlie Kirk situation? Well, the best way to do that is to create a common enemy. Now, the enemy doesn't have to be real. And the enemy didn't have to actually do anything to Charlie. You just have to name it and frame it around that. And who was the best target? Israel. Who's the other people that had a problem with them? Who was that guy? Bald guy, boxing, woman abuse, Tate. Yeah. Especially ever since that he joined the whole Muslim nation thing. Just an FYI, the circle is not completely closed, but it's pretty full circle. It's pretty full circle. When we look at this thing fleshed out in its entirety, this is what we see. And I read a book, The Shack. If you've ever read The Shack, there was a scene where Mac was talking to Sarayu, and Sarayu was with him in this garden, and the garden looked like like it was chaos everywhere, different kinds of funky looking flowers, and he was just on this level and he couldn't make sense of it. And Sarayu took him way up in the sky, whoop, and had him look down on the garden. And the garden made all kinds of sense. It just painted a wonderful picture. She called it a fractal. In one aspect, it can't make sense, but when you take a zoom out and you look at all the cogs moving, it becomes a masterpiece. And I think we've kind of taken a little bit of an aerial view of Candace's life, from her doxing website to what she's at now, and it is indeed full circle. She's left the left to go right back to the left circle. She had a friend she wanted to be more than friends with. The friend didn't want that. And the friend even went so far as to not make her be happy by picking somebody. So she did it out of spite, and she could make some upward movements. And then that person got mad because, oh, you trying to tell my future wife who not to marry? I'm going to deal with you in time. Don't you worry about it. And now I have the OG on my side. I could really make this happen. And then we'll have even a bigger platform to prove that there's a conspiracy out there, and these particular people are in on it, blam, 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 blam. It just so happened that they're all the same people that they have affiliations and friendships and accounts with. Again, just speculation. Ain't that what we always like to do? Hey, call it a conspiracy theory. Call it stretching. Call it whatever you'd like to call it. But please, if you don't mind, just do me this one solid. You can do whatever you want after this particular solid. Do me this one solid. If we are going to affiliate a nation state with actions, and then that actions, we consider them a certain name, why is it different when you see that exact same carbon copy placed on people like Candace, and her affiliations with people should have you thinking that she is something, but you somehow think, nah, she's different? At what point do you say to yourself, is she actually protecting a certain kind of people? And that would explain why Charlie was target number 1. He was against the things that she was against, even though no matter how much she tried to tell you that he was for it the way she was, he was not. And I think that's what it really boiled down to. You couldn't convince the masses while he was here, because he would always be able to come back and say, nah. But when the man is gone, It would also explain why Candace ain't been touched by this ridiculous enemy that she says is out there. The one person that talks, I mean, mad shit about Israel, untouched. You don't find that suspicious? This girl has been going off on a tirade about the most vile, evil, wicked, genocidal government ever. But you ain't touched by that same genocide. Nothing. The one guy that was on their side, he's the one that. All right, cool. Hey, look, if that's what I got right now. I have oceanfront, not just beach, oceanfront land I can sell you in the town I live in. And we in the middle of the state. It's oceanfront. I'm telling you now. All these movements and actions that she's been doing and the seeming desperateness of it reeks of something else that might be going on. Might. Don't come with no defamation and lawsuit, blah, blah. You all say, no. We ain't like Candace. We don't have hard and say, yes, 100%. No. We see some flags. And just like with any person that does conspiracy, we are linking flags. Our flags just happen to have a whole lot of wind behind them. That's all. You can see our flags. Can you see Candace's? Can you explain the rapid relationship flourishing between her and Mr. Farmer? Can you explain the relationships that he has had with certain individuals who are under scrutiny? And I understand the Qs and all those people are going to come and say, they're just after the Tates because they speak the truth. Is beating women in the face truth? That's truth now? That's the side we're on? Prostitution, is that also something that we back up because he talks truth about men while telling men how to be womanizers and not actual men? You're going to take advice from somebody who prostitutes women and sells their bodies for money. He don't have a wife, but you go listen to him. Truth, right, for young men? Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. And it would make sense that Charlie would not have a problem with that. Interesting, isn't it? That all the people that she surrounded herself with, Charlie would never associate with. It explains why all of a sudden, everything is in an effort to make Charlie's legacy trashed, even up to attacking the man's wife. It is why she has no off button while acting like she was a friend, acting like she was some sort of family member, cared so much, but you refer to the man as a business associate. That's all he was, a stinking business associate. When you had just finished saying, we were everywhere together, we went everywhere, we were touring and talking. So which was he? You see, you were scorned, you were hurt, you got put on the back burner, and you didn't like it. And along comes somebody who told you, hey, I could make you get that next jump. I got you. You ready to make this happen? All we got to do is link up. Now, there are some other things I'm going to need you to do. And you're going to have to do it if you want to make this next step. And she did it. I believe in some ways, believe that it was coerced out of her. Yeah, I believe that Mr. Farmer and Tate had a hand in some way, shape, and form coercing Mrs. Owens to do something partially against her will, like against her friend. Which is why she's so vehement about everything that she says about it. Almost borderline angry. It also explains why she can't keep her story straight, is because there's too much fuming anger there, both against Charlie and against her husband. Yeah. Soap opera, isn't it? Yeah. Hey, look, we didn't tell you that it was going to be one of those things that you're going to be like, oh, no. If you have eyes to see, you see. If you believe, you believe. If you don't, you don't. And don't come asking us for receipts, because y'all don't ask her for none. She could just say, I dropped it. Well, we dropped it. We dropped her video. We dropped her statement. We ain't saying nothing that she didn't say. We're not accusing her of nothing that you can't infer based on their conversation. That's not what we're doing. Unlike her. There's just too many flags. You know, she said, too many things don't make sense. It doesn't add up. The math isn't mathing. Well, the math is not mathing. Your circle of friends tells us everything we need to know about you, Candace. Even your links to Qatar. Yeah, we know about that too. Yeah, all the money exchange there. I wonder if George had anything to do with that money. I mean, you at one point even said that certain ones of your partners, business partners, don't like what you're talking about. And that might also be why you keep changing back and forth the theory, the theory, the theory by not staying on one. They'll let you harp on it, but not try to prove it. The same way you want to say that Israel was a panhandler for Charlie. You remember you said that you went to somebody else. You remember you said that, not us. Israel invited Charlie. Somebody else invited you. I wonder if that was that Qatar people. I wonder if in all of this you had a meeting, a sit down with you, your husband, Tate, and you made this deal with a foreign entity to try and wreak havoc in the social fabric of the United States. And therein lied all of the stuff. And one of the biggest things is the breakdown of the Jewish people. Hey, it runs thick. We might flesh out more, but we want to see exactly what you guys think about this one. We would like to hear your opinion. And I understand you're going to have people that just doesn't agree and they don't want to hear about it. That's okay. You don't have to. But if you don't mind, please listen carefully and answer the questions we posed. Not a random question that you came up with, one we posed to you. Because just like with every other platform, we have the right to our opinion. And with our opinion also comes an option for rebuttal. And we're open to that. So rebut, but also answer the question we've asked in good faith. We will answer yours if you have a good one. Even a bad one we'll answer, because we know what we like to do. Answer questions. Both sides answer questions. But Candace is worrying. Multiple things show us that she is not in her right frame of mind, either due from abuse, due from people having too much of a handle on her, or her trying to break out of something that she cannot break out of because the thing that she dig her hole for is too deep now. She can't get out. It's a stuck deal. Especially if that theory about Mr. Farmer is right, that he is indeed a controlling person. You see, it's always the person that's most controlling that will try to be the most sensitive and sweet. They'll always come across like that, just nice, and they don't even raise their voice. They're just kind of calm. Those are the really scary ones. And then you have the ones that are kind of calm but seem reasonable, like Mr. Tate, but you can sense that he has a very violent, dark streak to him. Now imagine those two people being friends before her and dealing in the kinds of things that Tate was dealing in. You're trying to tell me that George didn't know? Remember, he was with him before the top G was a top G. So he had to know how top G made top G money. But, don't talk about that. Anyway, I can't wait to hear y'all takes on this one. I really can't. Look, when I tell you I cannot wait, if I have to put 15 notifications or leave a message under everybody's comment, I will do it personally so I can keep getting drawn back to the conversation to see what y'all say. I cannot wait. Defend this. Go ahead. Also, tell us what you think about our conspiracy theory, which is all it is right now. A conspiracy theory. No receipts to bring. No facts to prove. This is just what we believe based on what we've been hearing, how she speaks, who she speaks to, and who she defends. If you have questions about it, leave them for us. If you have answers, leave them for us. Also, if you want to talk about it, let us know that too, because we will bring you right up on the screen and have a conversation in a heartbeat, because we want to get to the bottom. So in the meantime and in between time, please leave your comments in the comment section below, and we look forward to this engaging topic.
I stab stereotypes, the map, the aftermath, the math, you call it conflict, I call it context, two lenses, one text, next to flex, they clip a clip, too quick, fix the narrative, I stitch the stitch, back to the narrative, comparative, when your feed feeds a frenzy, rewind, find the friendly faces in the frenzy that they fenced away, street light testimony, shadow speaks different in bright light than in night fights, watch the white light bite, I got verbs that twist verbs, siren that reverse sirens, hear the siren say, listen, my lines are lifelines,